We're going to take a look at this article from Axios called Revenge of the AI Bubble. It sounds like a 60s sci-fi movie, but I've been kind of tracking the AI industry, the bubble, for several months now on the channel, and I know a lot of people can't decide if we're for or against AI. The answer is yes. I'm actually both for and against AI. I'm for it as a tool. I think it's an amazing tool that has yet to be fully realized. I'm against it replacing every human out there, especially when it's not show ready, as they like to say at Disney. It's not show ready yet. It has some hard limitations. And if you let the AI do its thing unchecked, it's incredibly stupid. It also is incredibly expensive. And if anything is going to burst the AI bubble, it's going to be the expense, that there's no return on investment. We talk about this, ad nauseum here on the channel. When it comes to entertainment, spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make half as much money is not a good investment. And that's what's going on with AI right now. It is the beginnings of a good tool. It is not a replacement for every human in the workforce. These companies are trying to justify their layoffs by saying that, but I know it's not true. And the only people who believe that every human can be replaced with AI have never worked with AI, or they would not be saying this. But the investors are stupid. Let's be real. They're dumb, and they're listening to what these guys are telling them because they're shoveling trillions of dollars into AI. So there has to be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but I think that pot of gold may be a pot of silver or copper, and that rainbow may be miles, miles, miles. The end of that rainbow is going to be miles down the road. So let's talk about what is actually going on now. And I think investors are giving up on AI to some degree. We're seeing a lot of companies walk it back. We're seeing companies like even Microsoft, they're going all in on AI. And now they're like, you know what, guys, we're going to let you control how much AI you actually want. We're seeing them pull back on spend on AI just in their own staff. Microsoft is not letting their employees use Anthropic, use Claude, because they're burning through credits at a crazy, insane rate. Everything is getting more expensive. The bill is coming due. And the only company that's making any money in AI right now is NVIDIA. They're making out like bandits on the GPUs. But everybody else, they're losing money. Massive, massive amounts of money. We're going to take a look at this website. Is AI profitable yet? The answer is no. And the amounts of money that are being spent to make very, very little return on investment, if any return on investment, it's mind-blowing. And you're also going to realize, looking at this list, that some of the people you thought were bigger players in the AI space are very small, including X, Twitter. It's insane the amounts of money being spent. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's moreclownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV. And also, if you'd like to listen to us instead of watch us, you can do that on iTunes, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. We have the audio version of Clownfish TV out there. Most of our episodes are out there, as well as some episodes that are not on YouTube. So thank you very much for the support. Let's take a look at this. This is isAIprofitable.com. And it's asking the question, the very simple question, how much money are these companies spending and what are they getting? And how much are they losing? Amazon is in the red for $291 billion. They've spent, oh my God, $313 billion on AI. They've only made $22 billion back. Alphabet, Google, $287 billion. They've only made $25 billion back. Microsoft, they're in the hole for $235 billion. They spent $266. They've made $31. Meta, Facebook, negative $227 billion. They've spent $230 billion. They've only made $3 billion in profit. Oracle, same story, $57 billion in the hole, 18 to the good. OpenAI, OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, which is, that's the whole thing, whether or not they're actually successful. But $55 billion spent, $28 billion recouped. Anthropic, $33 billion spent, $6.5 billion recouped. XAI is a drop in the bucket compared to these other guys. That would be Elon Musk, 20 billion spent and only 0.8 billion recouped. Do you want to know why they're charging for everything on X? This is why. Minstrel AI, I've never even... Minstrel? Why would you call it minstrel? No, I don't even know. Oh, cumulative. Okay. Cohere, DeepSeek. Okay, NVIDIA, though. We get to NVIDIA, and this is where it's interesting. They're actually 253 billion ahead. They spent 225 billion, 478 billion ahead. But then, this is their hardware we're talking about, the hardware that runs this whole machine, right? And everybody else is giving them money. So a lot of this money that these guys are spending is going right into NVIDIA's pockets. So they got a pretty damn good racket going on. I'm just saying. But this is not sustainable, right? It's just like Hollywood, and on a much, much bigger scale, though. And they're actually, the stock market now is kind of living or dying based on what these companies are doing with AI, because all these investors were promised this miracle that was going to help get rid of these pesky employees, these overpaid, worthless employees. We get rid of them, and then we'll have the robots do all of our work for us. And even Elon Musk is leaning into that shit. And I'm like, and he wants socialism and all that. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you guys can't even create an AI that gets basic math right most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't fact check right. You've got to sit on it. It's a good tool if you know what you're doing, but you got to sit on it. So you need humans to make sure it's actually doing its job correctly. And let's be very clear. We're talking AI. We're not talking sentience. We're not talking a conscious being. We are talking a very fancy search engine. And that's what AI is right now. It's a very, very fancy search engine. And we're not even taking into consideration, speaking of which, the collateral damage, the other dominoes that get knocked over. In the case of Google, they've gone all in on AI. And as a result of that, with their AI search, they've collapsed the entire digital media infrastructure. So a whole bunch of websites are going to go under, and that's going to drag down the bottom line of tech too. So, I'm saying this is like a house of cards. It really is. I lived through the dot-com bubble. I was actually building websites when the dot-com bubble happened. My God, early dot-com, it was beautiful, man. I am not kidding you. I could make 10 grand in a weekend building very basic websites for people. And I was in my early 20s. And it was like, damn, dude, this is the life, man. This is what I'm going to do. Yeah, it lasted about 3 years. And then just everything collapsed because everybody could do it. As more and more people realize that AI has hard limitations and the companies don't want to spend the money it's going to take to actually get decent results out of it, we're going to see a huge amount of contraction. And I think some of these companies are going to burn themselves to the ground chasing it. So this is coming from Axios. The AI bubble debate has lurched through at least 3 frenzied phases in the span of 3 years. Suspicion, historic sums of capital poured into AI before anyone proved it could reliably automate work. It still can't. It can somewhat, but not to the extent that the people behind it want you to believe. A violent market correction felt inevitable. Mania, Claude Code, and autonomous agents made the early skepticism look outdated, fueling a corporate scramble to embed AI everywhere and maximize usage. Claude does get things wrong, by the way. Reckoning, companies discovered that AI can be extraordinary when aimed precisely and ruinously expensive when treated as a universal productivity machine. Yeah, if you let Claude go unchecked and you give it access to all your accounts and you give it access to your email, it's going to run amok because it doesn't know what the hell it's doing. So why does it matter? First phase doubted the technology. The second phase worshipped it. The third phase, currently gaining steam across corporate America, questions whether AI's immense power is worth the price. That's the thing. It's not, can we do a thing? It is, can we do it cheaply enough to make it worth doing? Or is it actually cheaper to just hire humans? And I think we're finding out it's actually cheaper in many cases to just hire humans. Just because you can do a thing with a machine doesn't mean you should. It's like buying a Ferrari to drive 2 blocks away to the grocery store. You could walk, you could ride your bike, you could buy a cheaper car. But no. We have to have the Ferrari because we got to look good when we're going the 2 blocks to the grocery store, right? It's not worth it. It's not worth buying a Ferrari just to go to the grocery store. The case against AI used to come from outsiders, Luddites, doomers, short sellers betting on a crash as new skeptics are emerging from inside the boom. Yes, this is what's changed. This is what's changed, because when Microsoft is even pulling back on how much they're spending on AI internally, on their own, letting their own employees spend, it's not looking good. Uber capped employee AI usage after burning through its annual Claude Code budget in 4 months. A top executive said the spending was getting harder to justify with no clear link between token use and more useful consumer features. Amazon shut down an internal token leaderboard after employees gamed it with throwaway tasks to climb in the rankings. And, oh my God. And the Amazon executive told staff, please don't use AI just for the sake of using AI. Exactly. GitHub moved Copilot, the AI coding assistant used by millions of developers, to usage-based billing as part of its effort to create a sustainable business. The change shocked users who were suddenly confronted with the true cost of heavy AI usage. Yeah, what's going on now is everybody's getting AI dirt cheap, just like drugs. That's what they're doing. They're giving it to you cheap. Oh, $20 a month, $30 a month, all the AI you can use. As they're losing massive, massive amounts of money. That is a lot of red. Do you think this is going to continue? No, it is not. And then what's going to happen is once you realize how much AI actually costs, you might have to ask yourself as a business owner, as an employee, is it cheaper just to hire somebody? And I think that's going to happen. Bain surveyed 951 large companies and found AI savings falling well below projections, even as most firms plan to spend more. The technology worked, the value didn't arrive, the report concluded. Even OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has acknowledged the new concerns, calling the question of whether AI spending will show up in revenue the most fair criticism of the moment. Wait a second. Calling the question of whether AI spending will show up in revenue the most fair criticism of the moment. Reality check. The companies sounding the alarm are the early adopters. Most of the economy is still at the starting line, while the pioneers are the ones absorbing the cost shocks, wasted tokens, and employee backlash. AI is already creating real value for chip makers, model labs, and some power users. Yeah, if you know what you're doing, it can be a very powerful tool. Not everybody's, I'm going to be honest, not everybody's going to be able to use AI as efficiently as it should be used. Just like you can't sit somebody down in front of a computer and say, here, code a game, or use Photoshop and make me a beautiful painting, digital painting with Photoshop. You're going to have people that are good at it, who can get the maximum value out of the token usage. And you're going to have people that are just banging away like monkeys on a typewriter, putting in prompts and getting shit as a result. So I think what we're going to have is a subset of workers who are very skilled at using AI. And I think companies are going to say, look, this is what we use it for. This is not what we use it for. Kind of like the Xerox machine, right? Like you can't just be like copying your ass cheeks and handing that out to everybody in the office. I remember the one office I worked at, they were very, very weird about unauthorized Xerox usage. Like, I know it sounds very quaint, but they always kept track of how many copies every workstation was making per month. And if you were making like hundreds of unauthorized copies per month, they're like, what are you doing? What are you spending it on? That's going to be the same with the tokens, I think. Wall Street got a fresh reminder Friday of how much AI optimism is baked into the markets. NASDAQ plummeted 4%, its worst day in more than a year, while the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index plunged 10%, its worst day in more than 6 years. It said Broadcom, the chip maker, reported explosive AI growth but failed to raise its longer-term AI revenue outlook, disappointing investors. This is coming from Axios, and they're like, there is a reality check here. And I'm telling you, I think a day of reckoning is coming very soon. And I think things are going to go very, very differently than how people are expecting it to go. I think we're going to get some of these companies just kind of throw their hands up in the air and be like, yeah, we can't afford to bankroll AI. And they're all trying to get to AGI, which is basically sentience. And we're not even close to that. Like, we're not even... It's completely incapable. At least the consumer-facing version of AI, or what we have to use, is not there. It is very fancy search. They're being, I think investors are being lied to. I think employees who are getting laid off citing AI or being lied to. I do think AI is useful, but you can't get rid of everybody. It's just, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.